One topic that's getting a lot more attention lately is corn planting populations, and that happens to be a topic that we at Stine feel very, very strongly about. This morning I've asked Myron Stine to join us to talk a little bit about that topic. Good morning, Myron. Good morning, David. So before we get started, can you tell me a little bit about the history and the background of corn plant populations?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in the 1930s, a productive farm may plant at 8,000 plants per acre, and they may get a yield of 40 to 50 bushel per acre. Today, a productive farm may plant at 37,000 to 40,000 plants per acre, such as this field right behind us. This is planted at 40,000 plants per acre. And you'd get yields, today you can get yields of 200 to 225, for instance. What breeding companies have done is essentially manipulated genetics to stand higher populations. So you essentially today have corn that you can plant thicker and put the same amount of grain on per plant. We've seen this trend line. We don't think it's going to stop.
So the key, what you're saying is the key to this growth in yield has really come from not making more grain on the plant, it's just putting more plants on that acre.
That's very true. That's exactly what's happened over time.
So what are companies like Stine doing to work with that, and how do, once you understand that, what are we doing to further that cause and work with high populations?
So our company, we'll take our germplasm base that we have, and we continually mix that germplasm base up, and we subject that germplasm base to that high population environment. When we find plants that do well in that high population environment, we then obviously take those plants and cross them with other plants to make more plants that way, and we slowly will push our germplasm bank and base that direction.
So what kind of populations is Stine looking at in those kinds of environments?
So today in our elite yield trials, we will plant at 36,000 plants per acre, 48,000 plants per acre, and 60,000 plants per acre. At the same time, we're assuring that we have the nutrients and the resources for those plants to perform in that high population environment.
But you're not recommending the growers plant at 60,000 plants per acre?
Absolutely not, absolutely not. Today's plants are, they're geared for a higher population, but maybe not that high. We're trying to stay above the curve. And everything we're doing today is so we have products, say, in 10 years that are able to.
So you're testing to the extreme to find the hybrids of tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. If we don't do this work today, we won't have the right product for our customers in 10 to 15 years.
So, if a grower's thinking about changing his plant population, what are the considerations he needs to be thinking about as he makes that transition?
Well, the number one thing that everyone needs to understand is that there's a general trend for higher populations. However, there's hybrids that are on the lower end of that trend. There are hybrids that are on the upper end of that trend. A farmer needs to understand what his hybrid's capable of doing. If you look at much of our product lineup, we're on the upper end of that trend. We have some competition out there that would be on the lower end of that trend. So they need to understand their hybrid specifically. Then once they figure that out, they need to make sure they have the right resources for that hybrid to perform on the acre, such as the right nitrogen applied, the correct micronutrients. Do I need a fungicide? The right farming practices to make sure that that product is able to perform at its best on the acre.
So it's not just the hybrid, it's an entire system, really.
That's right. It starts with the genetics, but if you don't have everything to back the genetics up, it won't work.
Well, and that's the key, and that's something that, like I said, I think a lot of growers are talking about and thinking about with regard to high populations. So I appreciate you visiting with us, Myron.
Thank you.
Yep.